Struggling to keep consistent out there with your running? Today, I'm going to share 3 simple steps you can follow to improve your running consistency. Let's get into it. If your goal is to develop your running consistency, creating a simple system to follow before a run can help you. Now, you can create that system in very different ways. That can be mapping out all of your runs the week prior so you know exactly what to expect. When creating your system, you can even identify ways at reducing friction, so cutting out any of the thinking or just additional burden that can often prevent runners from getting out in the first place. That can be having all of your running gear laid out the night before a run if you choose to run in the mornings, or having it all packed ready to go in a bag if you choose to run during work hours or just after work. The aim here is to minimize as much thinking and work as possible that goes into preparing for a run. And when it comes to establishing these systems, it's important to start small. If you suddenly try to incorporate all of these different tactics, they likely won't stick. Start with one small addition each time and build up to it. Personally, I have all of my marathon training sessions synced to my Garmin watch, ready to go, and so I have no thought as to what I should be doing when I get up in the morning. Additionally, placing all of my running gear and my runners next to my bed allows me to get ready as soon as I get out of bed, and then having the rest of my running gear downstairs ready to go next to the front door. That way I'm not scrambling around the house in the morning trying to figure out every excuse I can to not get out in the Melbourne winter. Now, while a system can create those steps that lead to running consistency, it can be beneficial to include additional elements to maintain your motivation. One way to maintain motivation to being consistent with your running is to add accountability into the mix. We can incorporate accountability into our running consistency in a few different ways. The first is a running buddy or a running club. Now, either of those can be a great way at having accountability in the form of meeting someone to go out for a run with. I mean, who would want to stand up one of their running friends or someone from the run club at 6 a.m. on a cold winter's morning? The second, and probably most common, is to join an event or a challenge. Training for an event way down in the future or joining a running challenge can be a great way at maintaining and building that consistency into your routine, especially if you're joining an event that is a longer distance and requires a longer time to train for it, such as the marathon or an ultra marathon if you're crazy like that. Lastly is to gamify your running. Now, this can be a fun way at making your running a bit like a game. Perhaps it's completing a 5-day running streak that allows you to earn a cheeky takeaway meal, or trying to do a last man standing competition with your other running friends to see if you'll come out on top. Find ways to make your running fun. Personally, the act of signing up for a marathon provides me with a huge jolt of accountability, knowing I'll have to train for a long sustained period of time to actually enjoy the race. Because if I slack off and miss multiple sessions, I'm not going to enjoy my experience when it comes to the marathon race itself. While accountability can help with motivation when it comes to your running consistency, sometimes we do need to sit back and reflect. That's why it's important to sit down and evaluate your running routine and adjust it if required. We aren't always going to have those perfect running routines that all the elite athletes have, and sometimes life just gets in the way. It's important to set aside some time during the week to really reflect on how your running is going. Were there any sessions that you missed during the week? Were there any reasons that caused you to miss those sessions? Or have you just not been getting out at all for your runs? Once you've identified potential obstacles that are affecting your running consistency, you can work towards a solution. Perhaps that's changing the time of day that you go for a run, looking at doing your quality sessions with those harder efforts with a running buddy or at your run club, or even looking at taking an extra day off or two if your body just isn't feeling running at the moment. Developing running consistency requires a lot of trial and error. You aren't going to get it perfect on the first time, and if you decide to stick with your running over the course of your running journey, it's going to shift and mold to suit your life. Listening to my body is a core component and the way I evaluate how my running is going, especially as I get closer to the end of a marathon training program. Finding my body is just tired and my legs are spent from all the mileage I've been putting in, opting sometimes to do a cross-training day, or even just take another additional day of recovery to allow my body the rest it needs. Running is an ongoing journey, we need to give ourselves permission to evaluate and adapt our running routine to ensure we can achieve running consistency over the long term. So there we have it. 3 steps that you can follow to establish that running consistency. And look, it's a process. There are going to be many moments of trial and error, more trial and more error until you get it right. But also, if you're like me, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Be gentle with your body when it comes to your running and allow yourself to find the routine that works for you. Let me know down in the comments below, what are some obstacles that affect your running consistency? For me, it's having to get out in the cold winter mornings on a Saturday for my long run each week. But as they say, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And before I catch you later for this video, YouTube recommends you should watch this video of mine too. Why not give it a look? I'm Jack, and I'll see you next time. Catch up.